So, hello. Every year you would see that there is definitely a question, something related to Gandhi, Gandhism, principles that Gandhi espoused and stood for. We do not know how the question and where the question would come from. When it comes to polity, Mahatma Gandhi had such an influence on the constitutional principles that especially you would see the directive principles of a state policy. Very high chances you would see some question related to directive principles of state policy might appear in the exam, preliminary exam, and that too from Gandhian principles question could very well be asked. It was asked in the past and it could also be repeated, some question from Gandhian Dpsps. So if at all a question is asked, then how do you remember Gandhian Dpsps, directive principles? Let us look. So first, before trying to mugging up the Gandhian principles, it is better to understand what are the principles that Gandhi stood for. So Mahatma Gandhi, he had in fact converted a truth as a weapon, ahimsa as a weapon. He did not use any traditional weapon as sorts to fight the Britishers, but rather satya, ahimsa. Truth and non-violence have been converted into very powerful weapons. So what are the other principles that Gandhi stood for? Let us see, so that it becomes easier for you to understand and remember if at all any principles are asked. So whenever we speak about Mahatma Gandhi, what comes to your mind? You must have seen almost like an old, frail looking man with no upper clothing, almost like a loin cloth, and with a stick and walking fast. So that is one image when you see Mahatma Gandhi. Or you would see the charkha that Gandhi is weaving this cloth. Or you would see how Gandhi is moving forward, walking during a Dandi march to prepare salt and satyagraha. So these things come to your mind. So if we understand what are the vows of Gandhi, the principles of Mahatma Gandhi, it becomes easier for us to understand even the directive principles. So ahimsa, non-violence, that is what Gandhi had stood for. Satya, truth, truthfulness. Astheya, brahmacharya, aparigraha. So non-stealing, non-possession, not too much interested in the worldly possessions, or not stealing from others. Brahmacharya is about self-discipline and chastity. Sharira shrama, so work, physical work. You must have seen when we speak about Swachh Bharat, you see Gandhi as the logo for this Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. So why? Because Gandhi had in fact is the one who felt that it is not the duty of someone else to clean. You should take part in cleanliness, so of your surroundings, of not just your home but of your surroundings, of your village, of your town, of your city. So you are responsible for cleanliness. So in fact you should do some physical work. So sharira shrama, so working is also very important, and that cleanliness, Swachh Bharat also. In fact 150 years of the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, we have launched this Swachh Bharat Abhiyan as well. So aswada, so control of a palate, control of a diet is also one of the principles that Gandhi had believed in. Sarvatra bhayavarjana, so fearlessness. Why to fear when you are on the path of truth, when you know what you are doing is right? So no need to fear. It might be the mighty British Empire. We say that sun never sets on British Empire, they used to say. But nobody has given such a formidable challenge to the Britishers based on principles. He used their own principles against them. When you speak about high principles of morality, ethics, and all godliness, righteousness. So when British use them to show that they are the most righteous people, so in fact Gandhi had turned it upside down and showed their hypocrisy. So that's why he used ahimsa, he used satya. So satya agraha, the power of truth he had used. So when he was using these, so he had no fear whatsoever. He didn't have any fear of going to prison. He in fact said that whatever you think, that if you think that I am wrong according to your law, just because I am not cooperating with you, or I am being disobedient to your ruthless laws, or even to the extent of such sedition laws. So if I am protesting against them, and if you want to arrest me, so I am okay to get arrested. I won't even plead not guilty. So I am pleading guilty, go arrest me, put me in prison. So many days he had spent in prison, in fact. So he was very fearless in this regard. So when you are on the right path, you need not fear. That's what Sarvatra Bhayavarjana, fearlessness, that is also what Mahatma Gandhi stood for. And Sarva Dharma Samanatva, equality of all religions. Sarva Dharma Samabhavana or Samanatva, when we say, this also is something which Gandhi truly believed in. Okay, so you would see that some of the hymns which Gandhi also liked. So you would observe that Ishwar Ya Allah. So he says that both of them are equal. So it is about God. So all religions are equal. So that is what Gandhi believed in. And Swadeshi, using locally made goods. So when we think of Gandhi, charaka comes to your mind. Why? He was saying that I need not depend on British made cloth. This Manchester cloth I do not need. So we grow cotton here, we can weave our own cloth. So that's why the charka symbolizes that, Swadeshi, using the Swadeshi goods. So also about when it comes to salt also. So to prepare my own salt, why should British make those laws and taxes on when it comes to salt? So I can prepare my own salt. That's why your Dandi March was held. So you would see that Swadeshi, using of local goods. So this is also one of the principles that Gandhi stood for. At the same time, Sparsha Bhavana, against untouchability. So untouchability was rampant in those days. So Gandhi called, that we should not believe in such untouchability. So he called those who Dalits, he had called them as Harijans, and the tribals, Girijans, he had called. So these are people of God. How can you say that people of God are untouchable? So Sparsha Bhavana, not Asprushyata, Asparsha Bhavana or Asprushyata means untouchability. So against that, Sparsha Bhavana, against untouchability. So all of us are brothers, all of us are people of God. So even Dalits are also people of God. So he believed that it should be in fact Sparsha Bhavana and not Asprushyata. So these are the principles which Gandhi firmly believed in. These are the vows taken by Gandhi. So and along with this, you should also remember that Gandhi had always espoused village republics, that Grama Swarajya, villages must be independent in themselves. So he believed in this oceanic circles. He felt that village is at the center, village should be at the center of administration. When we speak about the structure of administration, so and how development must happen, he believed that village must be at the center. And the outer circles, so he believed in this oceanic circles. In this oceanic circles, Gandhi believed that at the center must be village, and the outside, the outer circle, concentric circles, the next outer circle should be the district, and the next outer circle would be the state, and then the nation. So he believed that because India lives in its villages. What is India? But India is of villages. People live in villages. So village development should be the focus, and village must be as independent as possible. Independence in the sense that it should, for its vital needs, for its vital wants, it should be independent. It should not depend on someone else. It should not be like a top-down structure where some central government gives something to the villages or some state government gives something to the villages. Why should it be? Can't villages become like self-reliant? So he believed that villages should be something like, the basic unit of Gandhian democracy is a village. Okay, so village is the smallest unit for participatory democracy. So people participate like at the level of Grama Sabha. So people directly participate. So and this should be self-reliant. So whatever some cottage industries or whatever in the small scale industries and cottage industries, household small industries that can be built in the villages, that would, and along with agriculture, so they should make, so for all the vital wants, vital needs that are important for sustenance and survival in a village, that village itself should be able to provide. So like that, village should be a kind of a republic of its own, self-reliant and independent. However, if needed, the inner circle should sacrifice itself for the outer circle. So if needed, when it is needed, so village should be able to sacrifice for the next circle, that is the district, and the next circle should sacrifice for the next circle, that is if needed. So the district should keep its needs aside and it should sacrifice for the state. And so yes, state is the next circle. So then state also, if there is a need, that there is a need for the nation demands certain things. So at that time the state should be able to sacrifice its interests in the national interest. For the national interest, the state should be able to sacrifice. So like that, the inner circle should be able to sacrifice for the outer circle when there is a need. So this is the Gandhian model of oceanic circles or the concentric circle government. That is what Gandhi had believed in. So now you have understood what is Gandhian, what are his principles that he espoused, what did he believe in, at the same time what was his model of government, what he believed in, especially Grama Swarajya that we speak about. So having understood this, now it should be easier for you to remember what are the directive principles, indirective principles, Gandhian principles. So though Mahatma Gandhi himself was not part of Constituent Assembly, in fact after independence you would see within a short time he was assassinated, he was not there, but many of Gandhian followers were there in Constituent Assembly who helped in preparation of these principles, directive principles which are included in our constitution. So if you see our Gandhian principles, the directive principles of state policy, in this Gandhian principles we have put them because they reflect the ideas, the great ideals of Mahatma Gandhi. So let us look at them. So Article 40, 43, 43B, 46, 47, 48. So these are the articles which are speaking of Gandhian principles, directive principles. So let us look at Article 40 first. So just now I have told about Grama Swarajya. So this is the Gandhi's dream to see that villages should be self-reliant, Grama Swarajya. So Article 40 is speaking just about that. So that state should take measures to organize village panchayats and give them necessary powers and authority so that you enable them to function as units of self-government. So units of self-government. So this is about Grama Swarajya, that you organize village panchayats and give them powers, give them authority so that they should start being as self-reliant, like a self-government. So that is what Article 40 is speaking about. So after that, then we come to Article 43. So in the villages, I told you they should be, for them to be self-reliant, then you need some cottage industries as such. So to promote cottage industries, maybe it may be on individual basis or it may be on cooperative basis, cooperation of a few households coming together and forming like a cooperative and setting up a small cottage industry. So that is also possible in rural areas. So there is a continuation. If you see 40 and 43, you can easily remember that this is about Grama Swarajya, self-government, and they should be self-reliant and also they should have self-government. And cottage industries you have to promote on a cooperative basis or on an individual basis. in rural areas. That is what Article 43 is speaking about. Then 43 also has another, you would see another sister article 43B. So of course it is added later. So this is with respect to cooperative society. So here we are saying industries on a basis of cooperation basis. So here specifically with respect to cooperative societies. Okay. So your 97th constitutional amendment had added this particular article. Okay. So to promote formation, voluntary formation, functioning autonomously, and democratic control and professional management of cooperative societies. See here there is a link. So if you are doing on a cooperation basis, then forming of cooperative societies. So you can see the link also, like that you can easily remember. Here we said self-government, also like self-reliant, Grama Swarajya. So for that you need these cottage industries in rural areas. So that, like that you can link it. At the same time, if you are saying on cooperation basis, if you are forming like cooperative society, for that formation of cooperative societies, the democratic control of and also with respect to professional management of such cooperative society. So you can link them here. And then Article 46. Gandhi also had believed, like I told you, at the same time, that those belonging to weaker sections, the Harijans, Girijans, which he spoke of. So Sparsha Bhavana that he spoke of. And at the same time he also believed in Sarvodaya also. So another thing that Gandhi had believed is in Sarvodaya concept. Sarvodaya, Sarva Udaya means all of them must develop. There should be progress amongst all sections, not just few sections in society. There should be upliftment of everyone in society. Sarva Udaya, all of them must progress, all of them must develop. So when we speak about, and that too the weaker sections, when we are speaking about the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and other weaker sections. So with respect to them, educational and economic interests must be promoted. So SCs, STs and other weaker sections of society, and also because there is untouchability, so protect them from social injustice and exploitation. So protect them from such injustices and exploitation. SCs, STs and other weaker sections. So this is what Article 46 is speaking about. Then Article 47. So Gandhi, in fact, he had in fact made before going to England for studying, barrister. He wanted to become a barrister. In fact, he had made vows also to his mother also, because his mother was very reluctant to send him to England. She thought that the person, my son would lose his his practices, caste practices and all like that. She feared. So Gandhi, in fact, he had vowed that do not worry, I am not going to touch alcohol as such or any intoxication and all. I would not be, or he believed like that. Because he felt that people should, a person should not lose control over his mind or his body. So he believed in that kind of discipline. So when it comes to Article 47, here we are speaking exactly about that, prohibition. When it comes to consumption of alcohol or any intoxication substances, drugs like that. So prohibiting consumption of intoxicating drinks and drugs which are injurious to health. Of course, they are injurious to health. So this is what Article 47 is speaking about. So consumption of intoxicating drinks and drugs. So that's why you would see there is a total prohibition you would see in Gujarat as well, the state in which Gandhi was born in. So prohibition, okay, not only intoxicating drinks, drugs which are all injurious to health. 47 is became. And then finally Article 48. So when it comes to animals, especially milch and draught cattle, so animals which give milk, and also draught cattle. Draught cattle are those which are used in agriculture, which help you in ploughing, which help you in the fields, in the agricultural fields. So such cattle, animals, so it can be cow, oxen, buffaloes and other kind of milk giving animals at the same time, or these which are used in this agriculture. So such animals, so prohibiting the slaughter of cows, calves, milk giving animals, milch and draught cattle, and also try to improve their breeds. They are helping human beings by giving milk. They are also helping in agricultural activities. So try to prohibit such slaughter, reckless slaughter of such animals. At the same time, try to improve their breeds. So this is also a Gandhian directive principle of state policy. So from Article 40, you are saying there are other directives, some you would see like 42 and all, some you would see in socialistic directive principles. So how do you remember all these directive principles? So you know that if there is, now you know that these all reflect the ideology of Gandhi. So ideology of Mahatma Gandhi is nicely placed in these directive principles of state policy. But article, if you want to correlate and remember, try to remember like this. So you know 40, article 40, so after 40 you just have to put plus 3. So then you get article 43, and again you have, but remember article 43 is speaking about such industries, cottage industries also on a cooperation basis. So just link it, because of cooperation, link it to cooperative societies. So there is a sister article. So there is another article through amendment, 97th constitutional amendment 2011 had in fact inserted this 43B also. So there is, along with 43 there is 43B. So just try to remember that. So after 43 then you should add another plus 3, you get article 46. So when you come to 46, you should remember this is all about SCs, STs and protection from injustice, promotion of their educational and economic interests, at the same time protecting them from injustice. So 46. After that it is just plus 1, plus 1. So 47, 48. So like this you can easily remember all the directive principles of state policy, which are Gandhian principles. Okay. So I hope this is now clear, and it is easy for you to remember all the Gandhian directive principles of state policy. Thank you.